We're learning new details about the suspect accused of carrying out a deadly mass shooting at Florida State University Thursday. Tallahassee police say there was no connection between 20-year-old Phoenix Ikner and the victims. He was shot by police and injured in the shooting and will have to spend a significant amount of time in the hospital. Officials say he will then be transferred to a detention center and face charges up to and including first-degree murder. 2 people were killed in Thursday's shooting on campus, which remained closed Friday. 5 were also injured and being treated at a local hospital. Earlier, officials there gave an update on their conditions.
We do feel that all will make a full recovery. 2 of them are possibly going home today, which we're extremely proud of.
CBS News reporter Kati Weis is in Tallahassee with more. And Kati, I understand you just spoke with a victim in the hospital. What did they tell you?
Well, Lindsay, good evening. A glimmer of hope right now this evening after meeting with this remarkable, inspiring young woman who is in just wonderful spirits despite everything she has endured. She is an urban planning graduate student. Her name's Madison Askins. She's attended both undergrad and graduate school here at Florida State University, and she is now recovering in the hospital tonight at Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare Hospital right here in Tallahassee, just a few minutes from the university's campus. And I want to tell you, her story is just chilling. She says she was first shot in the behind, and then her mind immediately kicked into survival mode. Take a listen.
When he got next to me, he reloaded. I heard the clip being changed. I'm familiar with guns in my household. Both my parents are retired Marines, so I've been on a shooting range before. So I believe I heard it. I believe I heard that clip being changed there, followed by him saying, "Keep running." Yeah, keep running. So I know he was hitting people who were moving. I know that if I had gotten up, he would have shot me again.
Now, she says that the tone in the shooter's voice when he was saying that was just more monotone, as if he wasn't shouting, he wasn't being more somber, he was just being neutral. She said that lack of empathy, that lack of emotion is what was most striking and chilling to her. She also wanted to mention, I asked her, I said, if you could speak directly to the person who did this to you, who put you in this hospital bed, what would you say? She says, I have nothing left to say to him. He's a bug to me. Those are her words. Now, she wants to thank both police, responders who came and helped out and really neutralized the shooter quickly, and also healthcare workers here at the hospital for their quick response. And we want to say she had 1 surgery yesterday. She needs 1 more before she can go home. Lindsay?
Grateful that she's okay. Kati Weis, thank you. Anna Schecter joins us now. She's the CBS News senior coordinating producer for the Crime and Public Safety Unit. Anna, we're getting a more clear picture of a timeline leading up to the events. What can you tell us?
That's right. We now know from police that the suspect arrived at around 11 a.m. and went into the parking garage of the university in his own vehicle. And he spent about an hour getting in and out of the vehicle, appearing, according to the surveillance footage that police reviewed, to be sort of preparing. Then around 11:51, he entered onto the campus. And just a few minutes later, at 11:56 or 57, he started shooting. It only took a few minutes for police to apprehend him. Right at 12 noon, he was shot by police. And police said yesterday at the press conference that they gave him directions that he did not follow, and that is why they fired and injured him.
Yesterday, they had also said there's no indication that that the suspected shooter had fired at police. Is that still the case?
That's still the case,
okay.
Yes.
What are you learning about the victims who died?
Well, the 2 men that died both worked in some capacity at the university. One for a vendor that provided food services, and the other man also worked for a vendor on campus. He was 45 years old. We just learned of his identity, also a father. And then the other man, Roberto, was 57 years old, and he was a father of a daughter, a husband. His brother posted to social media. So we're getting a little bit more information about the picture. It's a range of victims. We learned from the university president that some of those injured who are in the hospital are students who have survived. Everyone in the hospital, doctors expect to make a full recovery. So that, of course, includes the suspects. You have 5 victims injured by gunshots, and then the 6th person in the hospital currently is the suspect who is also wounded him by police gunfire.
So what more do we know about Phoenix Ikner? Any possible motive and what happens next in the investigation?
In terms of motive, that's a challenge. Investigators are still gathering information from his digital footprint and also interviewing not just the eyewitnesses, but anyone who was in contact with him. That includes, of course, his stepmother and father, but also his birth mother. We've learned overnight that there was a contentious relationship between his birth mother and his father and stepmother. Lots of legal filings going back and forth between them over many years. They're also going to try to find anyone that he was talking to about potential plans. At this time, we have no information speaking to motive. All we have are a few statements that he made, for example, to a school newspaper in January, talking about the upcoming inauguration. But it's hard to tell. I read his quote very carefully, talking about Trump about to take office. And you couldn't really tell one way or the other. I couldn't glean exactly, if there was anything in that. And we actually reached out to multiple people who were classmates. What we've learned is he was quiet, reserved, but there are other reports that he would kind of stir things up and espouse conspiracy theories in class and upset some of his fellow students at FSU.
Anna Schecter, thank you.
Of course.